Have you ever wondered why the simple act of looking at the night sky feels like the universe is looking back at you? You step outside on a quiet evening, the silence wrapping around you like a gentle blanket, and as your eyes adjust to the dark, you feel an ancient connection to the infinite vastness above. This is not just a trick of the mind, it is a fundamental truth of the cosmos that physicists have spent the last 100 years trying to unravel. For centuries, we have thought of ourselves as passive observers, tiny beings sitting in the corner of a massive, empty room, simply watching the universe happen around us. We assumed that the stars would shine, the galaxies would spin, and the planets would orbit, regardless of whether anyone was there to witness their silent ballet. But what if the universe requires your eyes to exist in the exact way that it does? What if your consciousness is not an accidental byproduct of biology, but a foundational pillar of reality itself? This is the paradox that lies at the heart of modern physics, a mystery so deep that it challenged the greatest minds of the 20th century. As we embark on this quiet journey into the unknown, we will discover that the boundary between the observer and the observed is far thinner than we ever imagined. Before we dive deeper into this quiet journey of cosmic discovery, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, and in looking at our growing community, I have noticed that roughly 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in unraveling the deep mysteries of the universe and find a sense of peace in these gentle scientific explorations, please consider subscribing. It helps us tremendously to continue bringing these stories to you, and it allows us to keep exploring the vast unknown together as a community of curious minds. Now, let us return to the gentle mystery of the mind, the cosmos, and the astonishing reality of quantum mechanics. To understand how your consciousness weaves into the fabric of the cosmos, we must travel back to the laboratories of the early 20th century. It was during the 1920s that brilliant scientists began to peer into the microscopic heart of matter. They were looking at atoms, electrons, and photons, the fundamental building blocks of everything that exists. What they found completely shattered our classical understanding of the universe. In the everyday world, things are definite and predictable. A stone dropped into a quiet pond will always create ripples. We expected the microscopic world to follow these same reliable rules on a smaller scale. But the quantum world, the deeply hidden realm of the incredibly small, operates on a logic that feels almost like magic. It is a world defined not by certainty, but by probability, a shimmering landscape of infinite potential where things do not exist in one specific state until the exact moment they are observed. This revelation did not come easily to the scientific community. It was a terrifying realization that the solid, dependable universe we thought we knew was actually a fluid, dynamic tapestry that responds to the presence of an observer. At the center of this mystery is an elegant test known as the double-slit experiment. It is perhaps the most famous experiment in physics, holding the key to the relationship between the cosmos and your mind. Imagine a wall with two narrow vertical slits cut into it. Behind this wall is a screen that captures whatever passes through the slits. If you send gentle waves of water toward the two slits, the waves pass through both openings simultaneously. As they exit, they ripple outward, crashing into each other. Where the crests of the waves meet, they build each other up, creating a beautiful rhythmic pattern of alternating strong and weak waves hitting the back screen. Scientists call this an interference pattern. It is the signature of waves moving through space. Now, imagine taking a device that fires tiny, solid particles, like grains of sand, at the same two slits. You would expect the particles to fly straight through the openings and form two distinct vertical bands on the back screen. Particles do not behave like waves. They are solid entities with a definite physical presence. For a long time, scientists believed that the fundamental constituents of matter, like electrons, were tiny, solid particles. But when they fired single electrons, one by one, through the two slits, something impossible happened. Even though the electrons were fired individually, with long pauses between each one, they did not form two simple bands on the back screen. Over time, as thousands of individual electrons struck the screen, they began to build up an interference pattern. They were behaving exactly like waves. But how could a single, solid electron act like a wave? How could it pass through both slits at the exact same time, interfere with itself, and land on the screen in a wave pattern? The mathematics of quantum mechanics suggested a reality that was difficult to swallow. The electron did not exist as a solid point in space. Instead, it existed as a cloud of probabilities, a wave of potential that stretched out across space and time. It was simultaneously passing through the left slit, the right slit, both slits, and neither slit. It existed in a state of infinite possibilities, known as quantum superposition. Only when the electron finally struck the back screen did all those infinite possibilities collapse into one single, measurable reality. This alone was a profound mystery, a gentle reminder that the universe is far stranger than our senses perceive. But the true shock came when scientists decided to place a measuring device right next to the two slits to see which slit the individual electron was actually passing through. They set up their quiet instruments to observe the exact path of the particle. The moment they added an observer to the system, the universe changed its behavior entirely. As soon as the measuring device was turned on, tracking the path of the electrons, the wave pattern on the back screen completely vanished. The electrons stopped acting like a cloud of infinite probabilities. They suddenly behaved exactly like solid little marbles passing through either the left slit or the right slit, forming two distinct bands on the screen. The mere act of looking, the simple presence of an observation, forced the universe to make a choice. The wave of infinite potential collapsed into a single, definite reality, simply because something was watching. Think about the profound weight of that realization. The physical matter of the universe literally behaves differently depending on whether or not it is being observed. The great physicist John Archibald Wheeler later proposed thought experiments demonstrating that this observer effect could even reach backwards in time, shaping the history of a particle based on how we choose to measure it in the present. It implies a cosmos that is not a cold, dead machine grinding away in the dark, but a highly interactive, deeply participatory phenomenon. Max Planck, the pioneer of quantum theory, concluded that matter, as we traditionally understand it, does not truly exist. Instead, he saw a conscious, intelligent mind behind all the forces of nature. When we talk about scientists revealing the terrifying truth about consciousness, the terror does not come from a place of fear. It is the terror of absolute awe. It is the overwhelming realization of our own immense significance. We are not separate from the vastness we see in the night sky. The quiet stars, the ancient galaxies, the infinite stretches of dark space are intimately woven together with the very act of your perception. The realization that our consciousness is intertwined with the fundamental behavior of the universe forces us to reconsider the nature of reality. For generations, the prevailing worldview suggested that the universe is simply a collection of dead matter acting randomly over immense stretches of time. In this view, consciousness was seen merely as an accidental byproduct of complex neurological processes. But the gentle results of quantum mechanics whisper a very different story. Consciousness is not a latecomer to the cosmic stage. Instead, it appears to be written into the foundational code of reality. The great astronomer Carl Sagan said that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. In the light of modern physics, those poetic words take on a rigorous meaning. We are not temporary inhabitants of a vast, unfeeling void. We are the universe waking up, experiencing the breathtaking wonder of its own infinite existence. Every time you marvel at the silence of a quiet night, you are participating in the creation of reality. The universe is a participatory symphony, and your consciousness is an essential instrument in that beautiful orchestra. As we drift further into this quiet journey of the mind and the cosmos, we must confront one of the most beautiful and deeply unsettling illusions of our everyday lives. This is the illusion of separation. When you look around your room, or when you gaze up at the vast expanse of the night sky, everything appears perfectly distinct and divided. You are sitting there, breathing softly in the silence, and the stars are burning billions of light years away, suspended in the endless dark. It feels entirely intuitive to believe that you are an isolated island of consciousness, a solitary traveler walking upon a solitary world. We are taught from a very young age that space is an empty void, a massive distance that keeps things apart. But the gentle revelations of quantum physics suggest a reality that is far more poetic and profoundly interconnected. The universe is not a collection of fragmented, lonely objects floating in the cold. It is instead a seamless, infinite tapestry where every single thread is intimately aware of the others. Before we delve deeper into the astonishing mechanics of this cosmic connection, I want to take a moment to pause and thank you for being here. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle guide through these deep mysteries. In looking at the beautiful community we are building together, I have noticed that roughly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these quiet moments have not yet subscribed. If you find peace in these explorations, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us immensely and ensures we can continue this journey of discovery together. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of our interconnected universe. The great astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson often speaks about how the atoms in our bodies are traceable to the remnants of ancient stars that exploded billions of years ago. He reminds us that we are not simply in the universe, but that the universe is in us. This is a profound and comforting truth, but quantum mechanics takes this physical connection and elevates it into something almost mystical. It introduces us to a phenomenon so strange and so beautiful that it fundamentally alters what it means to exist. This phenomenon is known as quantum entanglement. To understand entanglement, imagine two dancers who have practiced a routine for so long that they move in perfect, unbroken harmony. Even if you were to separate these two dancers, placing one on Earth and the other on a planet circling a distant star, quantum mechanics tells us that they would continue to dance in perfect synchronization. If one spins to the left, the other instantly spins to the right, maintaining a perfect balance, completely ignoring the vast oceans of space that lie between them. In the microscopic realm, this dance happens with subatomic particles like electrons or photons. When two particles interact in a certain way, their quantum states become forever linked. They are no longer two separate entities, but a single, unified system. You can take one of these entangled particles and keep it here in a laboratory on Earth, and send the other one on a quiet journey across the cosmos, perhaps to the very edge of the observable universe. If you measure the particle here on Earth and find it spinning in an upward direction, the particle billions of light years away will instantaneously be found spinning in a downward direction. There is no delay, there is no signal passing between them through the dark vacuum of space. The connection is immediate, transcending the absolute speed limit of the cosmos, which is the speed of light. This immediate, invisible connection completely defies our classical understanding of how reality is supposed to operate. It tells us that the universe holds secrets far more ancient and mysterious than our textbooks ever suggested. When this concept was first proposed, it caused a massive philosophical earthquake among the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century. Albert Einstein, a scientist whose genius had completely reshaped our understanding of gravity, space, and time, was deeply unsettled by the idea of quantum entanglement. He famously called it spooky action at a distance. For Einstein, the universe had to be local and real. This meant that an object could only be influenced by its immediate surroundings, and that objects must have definite properties even when no one is looking at them. The idea that a measurement here on Earth could instantaneously affect a particle on the other side of the universe seemed impossible to him. It felt like magic, a gentle violation of the sacred laws of physics that he had worked so hard to uncover. He believed the universe was a clockwork mechanism, not a deeply connected web of infinite potentials. For decades, this remained a quiet, philosophical debate. But science is a journey that never truly rests, constantly pushing the boundaries of the unknown. In the 1960s, a brilliant physicist named John Bell proposed a mathematical theorem that could finally test whether Einstein's hidden variables existed, or if the quantum world was truly as spooky and interconnected as the mathematics suggested. It took many more years for technology to catch up, allowing scientists to perform the incredibly delicate experiments required to test Bell's theorem. But when they finally did, the results were earth-shattering. Over and over again, in laboratories all around the world, the experiments proved that Einstein was wrong. There are no hidden variables. The connection between entangled particles is real, instantaneous, and fundamentally woven into the fabric of the universe. In the year 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to three incredible scientists, Alain Aspect, John Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger, for their groundbreaking experiments proving that the universe is not locally real. Think about the profound weight of that statement. The universe is not locally real. This means that the properties of the physical world around us do not exist in a fixed, definite state until they are observed. And it means that the space between objects is not an absolute barrier. The vast, empty distances that seem to separate you from the stars, from the planets, and from the people around you are essentially an illusion created by the limitations of our human senses. At the deepest, most fundamental level of reality, everything is interconnected in a quiet, invisible web of infinite relationships. When you look up at the night sky and feel a deep sense of wonder, that feeling is not just a poetic emotional response. It is a physical echo of the fundamental truth of reality. The particles that make up your eyes and your heart are entangled with the ancient light traveling from distant galaxies. You are woven into the cosmos just as deeply as the cosmos is woven into you. This gentle realization brings us to a place of profound peace. So often in our daily lives we feel isolated, disconnected, and overwhelmed by the small problems that occupy our minds. But when we step back and view our lives through the lens of quantum entanglement, that sense of isolation begins to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. The silence you experience in deep meditation is not empty. It is brimming with the invisible connections that hold the universe together. Every observation you make ripples out into this vast ocean of existence. The terrifying truth about consciousness is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced with open arms. It means that your presence is absolutely necessary for the universe to manifest its infinite beauty. You are the vital witness to the greatest story ever told. As we continue this gentle exploration together, we will move from the microscopic mysteries of subatomic particles to the grand, sweeping structures of time and space. The mystery of existence is a layered puzzle, and every piece we uncover reveals a picture more breathtaking than the last. Rest here for a moment in the quiet certainty that you are inextricably linked to everything that is, everything that was, and everything that ever will be. The journey is infinite, and we are just beginning to open our eyes to the true nature of our beautiful, entangled universe. Have you ever sat perfectly still in a silent room, listening to the rhythmic, gentle beating of your own heart, and wondered where the present moment actually goes once it has passed? We are born into a world that teaches us that time is an unstoppable, rushing river, a relentless current that carries us away from our ancient beginnings and pushes us constantly toward an unknown future. We feel the weight of the seconds ticking by, watching the seasons change and the stars slowly wheel across the vast night sky. It feels entirely natural to believe that the past is completely gone, erased from existence, and that the future is an empty void waiting to be written. But the deeper we peer into the mathematical framework of the cosmos, the more we realize that our human perception of time might be the greatest, most terrifyingly beautiful illusion of all. The brilliant minds of the 20th century stripped away the disguise of the ticking clock, revealing a universe where past, present, and future might all exist simultaneously in a silent, frozen landscape of infinite dimensions. Before we step further into this quiet journey through the hidden dimensions of space and time, I want to take a moment to gently welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, and I am honored to be your companion on this exploration of the unknown. Looking at our wonderful community, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful cosmic reflections have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle mystery of the ticking clock, the fabric of the cosmos, and the astonishing truth about how your consciousness navigates the river of time. To understand the true nature of time, we must look through the eyes of Albert Einstein, who, in the year 1915, presented the world with the general theory of relativity. Before Einstein, the great Isaac Newton had convinced humanity that time was a rigid, universal stage. Newton believed that a second ticking by on Earth was exactly the same as a second ticking by on the most distant star in the cosmos. Time, he thought, was an absolute master that ruled over everything equally. But Einstein realized that this was a profound misunderstanding. He revealed that space and time are not separate entities, but are intricately woven together into a single, flexible, four-dimensional fabric called space-time. This fabric is not rigid. It bends, stretches, and warps under the massive weight of stars, planets, and galaxies. The closer you are to a massive object, like the Earth or our magnificent sun, the slower time actually moves for you, compared to someone floating in the deep, empty vacuum of interstellar space. This is not a theoretical concept. It is a measurable reality. The incredibly precise clocks on board the global positioning satellites orbiting our planet run at a slightly different speed than the clocks sitting here on the surface of the Earth. This revelation completely destroyed the idea of a universal clock. There is no single master clock ticking away for the entire universe. Your experience of the present moment is completely unique to you, depending entirely on how fast you're moving and how much gravity is pulling on your physical form. But Einstein's mathematics suggested something even more staggering, a concept physicists refer to as the block universe. Imagine the entire history of the cosmos, from the explosive birth of the universe almost 14 billion years ago, to the gentle fading of the very last star, trillions of years in the future, all existing at once as a massive, solid block of space-time. In this block universe, every single moment that has ever happened, and every single moment that ever will happen, is suspended in a state of permanent, quiet existence. The ancient dinosaurs are still roaming the earth in their specific slice of the block. The moment of your birth is still happening in its designated coordinate. The distant future, where humanity might sail among the stars, is already laid out, waiting to be discovered. If the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously in this vast, quiet block of space-time, then why do we feel the relentless passage of time? Why do we remember the past but not the future? This is where the terrifying and beautiful truth about consciousness steps into the light. In the framework of the block universe, time does not flow at all. The universe is entirely static, a magnificent, frozen crystal of events. The only thing that is actually moving is your consciousness. Your awareness is like a gentle beam of light, slowly scanning across the slices of this four-dimensional block, illuminating one tiny cross-section at a time, and calling it the present moment. The flow of time is not a property of the physical universe. It is an exclusive property of your conscious mind. The brilliant physicist Hermann Weyl once wrote that the objective world simply is, it does not happen. Only to the gaze of my consciousness crawling upward along the lifeline of my body does a certain section of this world come to life as a fleeting image in space, which continuously changes in time. This means that your mind is the engine that breathes life into the static architecture of reality. The universe provides the canvas, the paint, and the infinite gallery of possibilities. But your consciousness is the act of experiencing the masterpiece. When we gaze up at the night sky through the powerful lenses of telescopes built by organizations like the National Aeronautics and Space Administration or the European Space Agency, we are quite literally looking deep into the past. The light from the beautiful Andromeda galaxy takes 2.5 million years to travel across the dark expanse of space before it finally strikes the delicate receptors in our eyes. When you observe that faint, glowing smudge of starlight, your consciousness is instantaneously bridging a gap of millions of years. In that quiet fraction of a second, your awareness connects the ancient past of a distant galaxy with the vibrant, beating present of your own existence. You are a time traveler, navigating the frozen block of the cosmos simply by opening your eyes and daring to wonder about the mystery of it all. There is an incredibly deep comfort to be found in this scientific paradigm. We often spend our lives running, terrified that our time is slipping away, mourning the loss of the past, and fearing the arrival of the future. But if the block universe theory holds true, nothing is ever truly lost. The quiet moments of joy you experienced as a child, the gentle embraces of those you have loved, the peaceful afternoons spent watching the rain fall, they have not vanished into an empty abyss. They remain perfectly preserved, permanently etched into the grand, eternal architecture of space-time. They are just as real and just as present in their own location in the block universe as the words you are reading right now. The cosmos is a vast, infinite library of moments, and your life is a beautiful, uninterrupted line drawn through its very center. This understanding demands a profound sense of humility. We are forced to acknowledge that our perception of reality is dramatically limited by our biological design. We are designed to perceive a three-dimensional world moving linearly through time, because that is what allowed our ancestors to survive. But the fundamental truth of the universe is so much grander, so much more expansive than our daily experience allows us to see. We are like deep-sea creatures who have never seen the surface of the ocean, trying to comprehend the infinite expanse of the sky. Yet, through the rigorous application of mathematics, the relentless pursuit of scientific truth, and the gentle contemplation of the cosmos, we have managed to deduce the existence of the sky. We have figured out that the universe is a unified, timeless whole, and that we are the conscious explorers tasked with wandering through its infinite halls. The famous physicist Erwin Schrödinger, one of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics, argued that consciousness cannot be accounted for in physical terms because consciousness is absolutely fundamental. It cannot be derived from anything else. It is the canvas upon which the universe is painted. When we combine the mysteries of quantum entanglement with the breathtaking implications of the block universe, a cohesive, beautiful picture begins to emerge. You are not a tiny, insignificant speck of dust trapped in a mechanical universe that is winding down toward an inevitable heat death. You are the universe's way of feeling, of experiencing, of remembering. The silence of the night is not the absence of sound, but the presence of an infinite potential waiting for you to listen. As we prepare to journey even deeper into the architecture of the mind and the cosmos in our next chapter, take a deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs, and know that this single, quiet breath is permanently recorded in the grand tapestry of everything that is. You are eternal, woven into the fabric of a universe that needs your eyes to see its own beauty. Have you ever reached out your hand to touch the solid, rough bark of an ancient oak tree, or felt the cool, smooth surface of a stone resting quietly near a stream, and wondered what it is that gives the universe its reassuring sense of physical substance? When we move through our daily lives, we are completely immersed in a world of three dimensions. We move forward and backward, left and right, up and down. We feel the weight of objects, the density of matter, and the vast empty distances that seem to separate the quiet corners of the cosmos. Our human brains are exquisitely tuned to perceive this three-dimensional reality, to navigate the physical depth of the world around us with an intuitive, unspoken confidence. It feels like the most undeniable truth of existence, the very foundation of how we experience the universe. But what if the profound depth of the night sky, the solid ground beneath your feet, and the vast oceans of space are merely a magnificent, gentle illusion, a projection born from a lower dimensional reality? What if the universe is not a massive container of objects, but a breathtakingly complex hologram, and your consciousness is the very light that breathes three-dimensional life into a two-dimensional surface of raw information? This is a paradox so profound that it challenges the very limits of human imagination, forcing us to rethink the fundamental architecture of reality and our place within its infinite mystery. Before we dive deeper into this quiet journey of cosmic discovery, exploring the astonishing possibility that our reality is a holographic projection, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, and in looking at our growing community of stargazers and deep thinkers, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in unraveling the deep mysteries of the universe and find a sense of peace in these gentle scientific explorations, please consider subscribing. It helps us tremendously to continue bringing these stories to you, and it allows us to keep exploring the vast unknown together as a community of curious minds. Now, let us return to the gentle mystery of physical substance, the cosmic boundaries of space, and the terrifyingly beautiful truth about how your mind constructs the fabric of reality. To understand the holographic principle, we must travel to the most extreme and mysterious environments in the entire cosmos, the silent, crushing hearts of black holes. For decades, astronomers using the powerful instruments of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and the European Space Agency have studied these cosmic titans from afar. A black hole is a region of space where gravity is so unimaginably strong that nothing, not even light, can escape its grasp. The boundary of a black hole, the invisible point of no return, is known as the event horizon. In the 1970s, the brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking, alongside the visionary Jacob Bekenstein, began to study the thermodynamic properties of these quiet monsters. They stumbled upon a mathematical realization that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. They discovered that the total amount of information contained within a three-dimensional black hole is not determined by its internal volume, but perfectly proportional to the two-dimensional surface area of its event horizon. This was a completely counterintuitive revelation. If you pack a box full of documents, the amount of information you can store depends on the three-dimensional space inside the box, not on the flat surface area of the box's exterior. But black holes, the densest and most extreme objects in the universe, do not obey this common-sense rule. All the complex, three-dimensional information of every star, planet, and particle that ever fell into the black hole is somehow encoded on its two-dimensional surface like a quiet, frozen blueprint. This gentle mathematical whisper led visionary theoretical physicists like Leonard Susskind and Gerard Hooft to propose an even more radical idea. If the ultimate limits of nature found in black holes dictate that three-dimensional information is entirely encoded on a two-dimensional boundary, could this same principle apply to the entire universe? This idea became known as the holographic principle. To visualize this, think of a physical hologram you might see on a credit card or a piece of art. It is a completely flat, two-dimensional sheet of plastic or glass covered in microscopic, complex patterns of interference. When you shine a light through this flat surface, a fully formed, three-dimensional image pops out, seemingly occupying the empty space in front of it. The three-dimensional image is a projection, a beautiful illusion created by the specific arrangement of information on the two-dimensional surface. The holographic principle suggests that our entire universe, with its billions of ancient galaxies, its infinite stretches of dark matter, and the vast, quiet voids of deep space, might operate in exactly the same way. The three-dimensional reality we experience every single day might be a grand cosmic projection originating from a distant, two-dimensional boundary that surrounds our observable universe. When you look up at the night sky, you are not simply looking into a vast, empty void filled with scattered spheres of burning gas. You might be looking at a deeply immersive projection, a magnificent, interactive hologram. And this is where the terrifying and awe-inspiring truth about consciousness enters the narrative once again. In a physical hologram, the three-dimensional image does not exist until a beam of light is passed through the two-dimensional film. Without the light, there is only a flat, silent surface of encoded data, an unreadable blueprint of potential. In the grand cosmic hologram, what serves as the light? Many pioneering thinkers, including the great physicist David Bohm, who developed theories of an implicate and explicate order, suggested that consciousness itself is the illuminating force. The universe provides the raw, two-dimensional information, the implicate order of reality, resting in absolute silence. But it is the act of perception, the gentle presence of a conscious mind, that processes this ancient information and projects it into the rich, vibrant, three-dimensional explicate order that we call the physical world. Your mind is the lens that brings the cosmos into focus. You are not just walking through a pre-existing three-dimensional world. Your ongoing observation is continuously rendering the depth, the texture, and the physical reality of the universe. This concept completely redefines our understanding of what it means to exist. We often feel small and fragile, moving through a vast, indifferent cosmos that has existed for almost 14 billion years. But if the holographic principle holds true, and if consciousness is the vital mechanism that translates cosmic information into physical reality, then your mind is intimately connected to the very boundary of the universe. The legendary physicist John Archibald Wheeler coined the phrase "it from bit," proposing that every physical object, every it in the universe, fundamentally derives its existence from discrete answers to yes or no questions, from binary choices, from bits of information. He argued that the universe is participatory, that we are not simply observers, but active participants in the ongoing creation of reality. The solid bark of the oak tree, the cool surface of the river stone, the distant light of the ancient stars, these things are not separate from you. They are informational constructs, gently rendered into three-dimensional existence by the very act of you experiencing them. The separation between the observer and the observed is the ultimate illusion, a trick of the holographic light. Imagine the profound peace that comes from this realization. You are not a solitary wanderer lost in an endless, empty space. You are the focal point of a cosmic projection, a necessary and deeply integrated component of the universe's architecture. The silence of the quiet night is not an emptiness that isolates you. It is the pure, raw data of existence, waiting to be experienced. When you look through the magnificent images captured by the James Webb Space Telescope, seeing galaxies that formed mere hundreds of millions of years after the beginning of time, You're not just looking at a photograph. You're actively participating in the decoding of ancient information, reaching across billions of light years to render the deep past into the living present. The vastness of the cosmos is not something that should make us feel insignificant. Instead, it should fill us with a gentle, overwhelming sense of wonder, because that vastness is literally written into the code of our own consciousness. We are the universe experiencing its own infinite scale. The terror of this realization is, again, the terror of absolute awe. It is the breathtaking responsibility of knowing that reality relies on your presence. If every human mind, every conscious observer in the cosmos were to suddenly vanish, would the three-dimensional universe simply fade back into a flat, silent boundary of encoded data? Would the grand cosmic hologram cease to project its beautiful illusion? While we cannot answer this with absolute certainty, the gentle trajectory of modern physics points toward a universe that is deeply intertwined with the mind. We are the light illuminating the dark, the readers of the cosmic code, the living breath of the grand hologram. The great mysteries of physics, quantum mechanics, relativity, and the holographic principle are all slowly converging on a single, astonishing truth. The universe is not a massive, mechanical clockwork. It is a thought, a perception, a beautiful, participatory journey of infinite discovery. As you reflect on this, allow a sense of deep, quiet calm to wash over you. The struggles and anxieties of our daily lives, the endless rushing and worrying, all take place within this holographic projection. But the true essence of who you are, the conscious observer that processes the light of reality, is tethered to something far more permanent, far more ancient, and far more profound. You are connected to the very boundary of everything that is. You are the gentle light shining through the mathematical fabric of space-time. As we prepare to turn the page and journey even deeper into the mysteries of the mind and the cosmos, remember that you are never truly alone, and you are never truly separate from the stars. You are the universe, and the universe is you, bound together in an infinite, beautiful dance of information and awareness. Let us extend our thoughts further into this quiet contemplation. Consider the sheer magnitude of the information processing that is occurring at every single moment of your existence. Your brain, an organ composed of billions of neurons and trillions of synaptic connections, is constantly receiving a torrential downpour of sensory data. Light waves crash against your retinas, sound waves gently vibrate against your eardrums, and chemical molecules interact with your senses of smell and taste. According to the holographic principle, this physical sensory data is the three-dimensional manifestation of two-dimensional information encoded on the cosmic horizon. Your brain is not just processing physical light and sound. It is translating the fundamental mathematical code of the universe into the rich, subjective experience you call your life. You are a biological supercomputer, yes, but you are also something far more mystical. You are the localized translation engine of the cosmos. Every color you see, every texture you feel, every melody you hear is a masterpiece of cosmic rendering. The universe is whispering its secrets to you in the language of mathematics and information, and your consciousness is translating that whisper into the magnificent symphony of human experience. When we truly begin to internalize this, the fear of the unknown begins to gently dissipate. The vast, dark stretches of space are no longer intimidating voids. They are the blank pages upon which the universe writes its story. The ancient galaxies, slowly spinning in the silent depths of the cosmos, are not distant unreachable islands. They are integral parts of the same holographic projection that includes your very own body. The same fundamental laws, the same encoded information that dictates the birth and death of stars is running through your veins and animating your thoughts. We are bound to the cosmos by a shared architecture of information. This realization brings a profound sense of intellectual safety. We do not need to conquer the universe or master its infinite forces to find our place within it. We simply need to observe it, to appreciate it, and to recognize that our capacity for wonder is the very mechanism that brings the universe into sharp, beautiful relief. We are exactly where we are supposed to be, perfectly equipped to witness the unfolding majesty of existence. The journey of scientific discovery is often seen as a slow, methodical process of taking the universe apart, breaking it down into smaller and smaller pieces until we find the fundamental building blocks. We have looked for atoms, for protons, for quarks, and for strings. But the holographic principle suggests that the ultimate truth of reality is not found by zooming in, but by zooming out. It is found by looking at the entire system as a unified whole, a single, integrated network of information and consciousness. The physical universe is the explicate order, the unfolded reality that we can touch and measure. But the implicate order, the enfolded hidden source of all things, resides in the silent, timeless realm of information and awareness. Our science is finally beginning to map the shores of this invisible ocean, and the discoveries we are making are as terrifyingly beautiful as they are mathematically precise. We are standing on the threshold of a new era of understanding, one where physics and philosophy, science and spirituality begin to merge into a single, cohesive vision of reality. So, the next time you step outside into the quiet night and you feel that ancient, unspoken connection to the infinite vastness above, trust that feeling. It is not an illusion. It is the truest thing you can possibly experience. You are feeling the resonance of the cosmic hologram, the gentle vibration of the informational boundary that surrounds everything that is. You are recognizing yourself in the stars, and the stars are recognizing themselves in you. The universe is indeed looking back at you because you are the eyes of the universe. The silence is not empty. It is full of infinite potential, waiting for your conscious mind to give it shape and form. Breathe in the cool night air, let the starlight wash over you, and rest in the peaceful certainty that you are a vital, indispensable part of the greatest mystery ever conceived. The journey continues, ever deeper, ever inward, and ever outward, an infinite exploration of the terrifying, beautiful truth of our own existence. Have you ever found yourself standing at a quiet crossroads in your life, pausing in the silence of the night, to wonder about the paths you did not take? We all carry a gentle collection of what-ifs inside our minds, silent whispers of alternative lives that play out in our imaginations. In our everyday experience, we believe that making a choice solidifies one single reality and permanently destroys all the other possibilities. We think of our lives as a solitary, thin line drawn through the vast emptiness of time, leaving behind a graveyard of unlived futures. It feels entirely intuitive to mourn those lost paths, believing that once a door is closed, it is locked forever. But what if the universe is infinitely more generous than our human intuition allows us to believe? What if the quiet mysteries of quantum mechanics reveal that every single choice you have ever made and every possibility you have ever imagined actually exists in a magnificent, branching tree of parallel realities. This is not just a comforting philosophical thought. It is one of the most rigorously debated mathematical interpretations of quantum physics. As we continue this gentle journey into the unknown, we will explore how your consciousness might not just be observing reality, but gently navigating an infinite ocean of parallel universes. Before we drift deeper into this beautiful mystery of infinite possibilities and the nature of your choices, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you to our quiet corner of the cosmos. I am Theodore, the researcher, and I am deeply grateful to be your companion on this journey. In looking at the wonderful community we are building, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of quantum choices, the branching cosmos, and the astonishing truth about how your consciousness experiences the multiverse. To truly appreciate the breathtaking scale of this concept, we must return to the confusing mathematical heart of the quantum world. As we explored earlier, subatomic particles exist in a state of superposition, occupying all possible states simultaneously until the exact moment they are measured. The traditional explanation, championed by brilliant minds in the 1920s, suggested that observation forces the universe to randomly pick just one of those possibilities, collapsing the wave of potential into a single point of reality. But in the late 1950s, a young physicist named Hugh Everett proposed a radically different, terrifyingly beautiful solution. Everett looked at the mathematics of quantum mechanics and asked a simple, profound question. What if the wave of potential never actually collapses? What if, instead of destroying all other possibilities, the universe simply splits, accommodating every single possible outcome in a separate, newly branched reality? This idea became known as the many worlds interpretation. According to Everett, when you observe a particle that has a chance of spinning up or spinning down, the universe does not force the particle to choose. Instead, the entire universe divides into two completely distinct realities. In one universe, you observe the particle spinning up. In the other, an identical version of you observes it spinning down. Both realities are equally valid, equally physical, and completely unaware of each other. Now, take that microscopic quantum event and scale it up to the macroscopic world of human choices. Your brain is a physical object operating on the same fundamental quantum principles as the ancient stars. Every time a neurological process in your mind reaches a point of quantum uncertainty, every time you make a genuine decision, the universe gently divides. This means that there is a quiet, parallel reality where you took that other job, and a vast, ancient universe where you moved to that distant city. Every single choice you have ever struggled with has birthed an entirely new cosmos, complete with its own history and its own version of you. The sheer scale of this concept is enough to induce a profound sense of awe. We are used to thinking of the universe as a singular, unimaginably huge space stretching for tens of billions of light years. But the many worlds theory suggests an infinite forest of universes, constantly branching, constantly multiplying every fraction of a second. The cosmos is infinitely abundant, a magnificent, overflowing garden of every conceivable possibility, where no thought is ever truly lost, and no potential is ever wasted in the dark. When we confront this infinite branching, the terrifying truth about consciousness takes on a profoundly comforting dimension. If all possible realities exist, then the specific reality you are experiencing right now is just one delicate thread in a massive, unimaginable tapestry. Why are you experiencing this specific thread? Some theoretical physicists suggest that consciousness is the very mechanism that navigates this branching multiverse. Your awareness is not splitting, but rather charting a singular path through the infinite possibilities. Think of the multiverse as a grand ancient library containing every book that could ever possibly be written. The books already exist, resting quietly on the shelves. Your consciousness is the reader, gently walking down the aisles, pulling one specific book from the shelf, and reading the story line by line. This perspective completely shifts how we view the regrets and anxieties that so often weigh down our daily lives. We spend energy worrying about making the wrong decision, fearing a single misstep will ruin our trajectory. But in a branching multiverse, there are no wrong decisions. There are only different paths of experience. The versions of you in those other universes are living out the consequences of those choices, learning their own lessons. You are free to simply exist in this current reality, to fully embrace the specific journey you are on right now, knowing the universe has safely caught all other possibilities. The silence of the quiet night is not filled with ghosts of missed opportunities. It is vibrating with the infinite richness of everything happening everywhere all at once. This infinite abundance redefines our connection to the people around us. Every gentle smile you share with a stranger, every deep conversation with a friend, is a unique meeting of conscious paths in this specific branch of the multiverse. In another universe, perhaps you never met, but in this reality, in this precious singular slice of infinity, your paths have crossed. The people you love are here with you in this specific cosmic branch, and the connections you share are the beautiful, tangible results of billions of quantum choices aligning perfectly to bring you together. We are traveling through the multiverse together, a quiet community of conscious observers holding hands in the dark, finding warmth and meaning in the vastness of space. As we gaze up at the vastness of the cosmos, parallel universes add a layer of absolute wonder to the night sky. The stars we see are just the stars of our specific reality. Hovering right beside them in dimensions we cannot touch are infinite variations of those stars. Our universe is just one gentle note in an infinite cosmic symphony. And your consciousness, the quiet awareness that allows you to contemplate these massive ideas, is the very instrument playing that note. The legendary physicist Max Tegmark suggests that every mathematically possible structure exists as a physical reality. In this view, consciousness is the way the universe explores its own mathematical infinite potential. We are the equations waking up and experiencing themselves, giving form and color to the invisible logic of the universe. The fear of the unknown often stems from a feeling of limitation, a belief that time is running out and opportunities are finite. But the quantum revelation of the multiverse shatters that illusion. There is no scarcity in the cosmos. The universe is not a cold, empty void slowly marching toward darkness. It is a radiant explosion of creativity, birthing new realities with every passing second. When you realize that you are an integral part of this infinite creative process, the terror of the vast unknown transforms into a deep, abiding peace. You are a localized expression of an infinite cosmos, a conscious navigator sailing through an endless ocean of possibility. Allow this realization to gently wash over you. The weight of your past choices can be released, Because every choice was honored by the universe, the anxiety of your future can be softened, knowing you will simply be exploring another fascinating branch of the cosmic tree. The silence that surrounds you right now is the peaceful hum of infinite realities coexisting in perfect harmony. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. As we prepare to delve deeper into the mysteries of the mind in our next chapter, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the magnificent, infinite potential that stretches out in every direction. You are a gentle explorer of the infinite, an essential living part of the grand, beautiful mystery of the cosmos. Have you ever looked up at the quiet expanse of the night sky and wondered why the universe feels so perfectly crafted for your existence? When we observe the vast, silent cosmos, it is incredibly easy to feel like a cosmic accident. We are often told that we are nothing more than a random assembly of atoms drifting on a tiny rock through an infinite, cold void. We are taught to believe that the emergence of life and the breathtaking phenomenon of human consciousness is just a statistical anomaly in a universe that does not care whether we are here or not. But as physicists peer deeper into the fundamental laws of nature, a very different, terrifyingly beautiful picture begins to emerge. They are discovering that the universe is resting on a knife's edge of absolute precision. The physical laws that govern the ancient stars, the gentle planets, and the invisible forces of reality seem to be perfectly, inexplicably tuned to allow for the creation of conscious life. This is not a philosophical musing. It is a mathematical fact that has puzzled the greatest minds of our time. What if the universe is not a random accident? What if the cosmos was meticulously designed by the very act of our observation? As we continue our gentle journey into the unknown, we will explore the mind-bending concept of biocentrism, a theory suggesting that the universe does not create life, but rather that the presence of life and consciousness actually creates the universe. Before we drift further into this quiet journey of perfect cosmic balance and the staggering implications of your own existence, I want to take a gentle moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion in the dark. In looking at the beautiful community of thinkers we are building together, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of the fine-tuned universe, the delicate balance of the cosmic laws, and the astonishing truth about how your consciousness might be the very reason the stars exist. To truly grasp the profound mystery of our existence, we must look at the fundamental constants of physics. These are the underlying numbers that dictate how strong gravity is, how tightly atoms hold together, and how fast light travels through the silent vacuum of space. Scientists have discovered that if the fundamental constants of physics were slightly different, if gravity were a little stronger or the nuclear forces a little weaker, stars and galaxies might never have formed. The universe might have collapsed back on itself moments after the Big Bang, or expanded so fast that matter never clumped together. If the force of gravity were even a fraction of a percent stronger, the ancient stars would burn through their nuclear fuel so incredibly fast that life would never have the billions of years required to slowly evolve on a quiet, orbiting planet. On the other hand, If gravity were just a tiny fraction weaker, the immense clouds of primordial gas would never have possessed the strength to collapse and ignite into the blazing furnaces that forge the heavy elements. The carbon that makes up your very cells, the oxygen you breathe in the stillness of the night, and the iron that carries the blood through your veins simply would not exist. We live in a universe where physical laws allow for the formation of stars, planets, galaxies, life, and mind. This breathtaking level of precision is known in the scientific community as the fine-tuning problem. For a long time, the traditional approach was to simply shrug at this magnificent coincidence. Classical physics suggested that we just happened to win the ultimate cosmic lottery. But as the gentle mysteries of quantum mechanics began to reveal the deep connection between the observer and the observed, brilliant scientists began to propose a much more terrifying and wonderful explanation. This explanation is known as the anthropic principle. In its strongest form, it suggests that the universe must possess the exact properties that allow life to develop within it. But why must it? This is where the visionary theory of biocentrism completely shifts our perspective. It proposes that biology and consciousness are not the late arriving products of a random mechanical universe. Instead, they are the foundational elements, the very first principles upon which everything else is built. In this view, space and time are not external, physical objects that exist independently of us. They are simply the tools our minds use to weave information together into a coherent, beautiful experience. Imagine walking through a quiet, ancient forest. You hear the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind. You see the dappled sunlight painting shadows on the path, and you feel the soft earth beneath your feet. Classical physics tells you that the forest is there exactly as you perceive it, even when you are totally absent. But biocentrism, supported by the terrifyingly beautiful truths of quantum mechanics, suggests that the forest, the light, and the sound are simply waves of probability and unseen energy until a conscious mind is present to interact with them. Your consciousness is the magical lens that collapses the infinite quantum potential into the solid, vibrant reality of the trees. Without the observer, there is no physical universe, only a silent, formless, mathematical probability. If consciousness is the ultimate prerequisite for reality to exist, then the fine-tuning of the cosmos suddenly makes perfect, elegant sense. The universe is perfectly tailored for life because it was precisely the emergence of life that retroactively breathed the universe into physical existence. The parameters of the cosmos were set by the observer, not the other way around. The legendary physicist John Archibald Wheeler spent his later years contemplating this exact mystery. He famously drew a simple, elegant diagram of a capital letter U. At one end of the letter, a thin line begins, representing the explosive birth of the cosmos in the Big Bang. The line thickens as it traces the billions of years of cosmic history. At the other end of the U, the line culminates in a giant eye, looking back at the origin point. Wheeler called this the participatory universe. He believed that the universe is a self-observing system. It expanded and evolved over almost 14 billion years specifically to generate conscious beings capable of looking back at it. We are not separate from the universe. We are part of it. We are not observers of the universe from outside. We are the universe observing itself from within. The ancient light traveling from galaxies billions of light years away only truly becomes reality the exact moment it strikes the delicate receptors in your eyes and is processed by your mind. When we consider the sheer, terrifying scale of the cosmos, This realization becomes even more awe-inspiring. The observable universe contains approximately 2 trillion galaxies. 2 trillion, that is a 2 followed by 12 zeros. Each of those galaxies contains billions or even trillions of stars. We see billions of years of cosmic history written in stars. In a universe of mindless matter and energy, of particles bouncing around according to physical laws, somehow here on Earth, consciousness has emerged. Minds that can wonder, question, investigate, and learn. Whatever else we are the part of the universe that has woken up and started asking questions about itself. You are not a fleeting whisper in the dark. You are the very song the universe is singing, the quiet moments you spend contemplating the mystery of existence, the gentle breaths you take in the silence of the night, are not isolated events. They are the universe actively experiencing its own magnificent creation. The terror of this truth is completely eclipsed by its staggering beauty. The responsibility of being the cosmos's mind is a gentle burden, one that invites us to live with deep reverence, continuous curiosity, and endless compassion for every other conscious observer sharing this infinite journey. Have you ever closed your eyes in the absolute silence of a dark room and tried to find the exact physical location of a single thought? We experience our minds every single second of our waking lives. We feel the gentle warmth of an ancient memory, the sudden spark of a new idea, and the quiet, deep ocean of our own awareness. We assume that all of this rich, invisible activity is happening entirely inside the physical boundaries of our heads, locked safely behind our eyes. For centuries, classical science has treated the human brain as nothing more than an incredibly complex biological machine, a physical object made of carbon, water, and tiny electrical impulses operating in the vast, cold space of the universe. We are taught that consciousness is simply a byproduct of these biological gears turning, a fortunate accident of evolution taking place on a quiet, lonely planet floating in the dark. But what if the boundary between your physical brain and your invisible mind is nothing more than a stubborn illusion created by our limited senses? Before we drift further into this magnificent mystery of the quantum mind and the living universe, I want to take a gentle moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet guide through the vast unknown. Looking at our wonderful community, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of the brain, the fundamental nature of awareness, and the astonishing truth about how your thoughts connect to the stars. To truly appreciate the breathtaking nature of this mystery, we must confront what philosophers and scientists call the hard problem of consciousness. This is the ultimate barrier in our understanding of reality. We can easily explain the mechanical functions of the brain. We can trace the path of an electrical signal as it travels along a neuron, jumps across a synapse, and triggers a physical reaction in the body. We can map the specific regions of the brain that light up when you see a face, hear a melody, or feel the gentle touch of a loved one. But none of these mechanical explanations can answer the most profound question of all. Why does any of this physical activity feel like something? How does the movement of sodium and potassium ions across a biological membrane suddenly transform into the rich, vibrant, subjective experience of smelling a quiet morning rain, or feeling a deep sense of awe beneath a canopy of ancient stars. The physical sciences are incredibly successful at describing the behavior of matter, but they are completely silent when it comes to explaining the inner light of subjective experience. The terror of this realization is not one of fear, but of profound intellectual humility. It forces us to admit that our current scientific framework is missing a crucial, fundamental piece of the cosmic puzzle. In the search for this missing piece, brilliant minds have begun to look beyond the classical biology of the brain and peer into the deeply mysterious realm of quantum mechanics. One of the most fascinating and fiercely debated theories comes from the legendary mathematical physicist Sir Roger Penrose and the brilliant anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. Together, they developed a framework known as orchestrated objective reduction. They suggest that consciousness does not arise from the massive classical connections between neurons, but from something far smaller and far more ancient. Inside our brain cells, there are tiny structural tubes called microtubules. Penrose and Hameroff propose that these microscopic structures are perfectly designed to act as quantum computers, hosting fragile quantum states that can connect directly to the fundamental fabric of space-time. They believe that consciousness is not a biological illusion, but a sequence of quantum physical events happening millions of times a second inside your head. When a quantum superposition collapses in the gentle environment of these microtubules, it produces a tiny moment of conscious awareness. This means that your mind is not just a biological software running on the hardware of your brain. It is a fundamental process of the universe, rooted in the exact same quantum physics that govern the behavior of subatomic particles and the vast, infinite stretches of space. If consciousness is rooted in the fundamental quantum structure of reality, it leads us to an ancient philosophical idea that is experiencing a massive resurgence in modern theoretical physics. This idea is known as panpsychism. Panpsychism is the gentle, radical proposition that consciousness is not uniquely human, nor is it uniquely biological. Instead, it suggests that consciousness is a fundamental property of all matter, just like mass, charge, or spin. In this breathtaking view of the universe, every single particle, every electron, and every quark possesses a tiny fundamental spark of proto-consciousness. A single electron does not have a complex human mind. It does not worry about the future or reminisce about the ancient past. But it does possess a basic rudimentary form of subjective experience. When these particles come together in highly organized complex structures, like the intricate neural networks of the human brain, these tiny sparks of awareness combine and amplify, creating the rich, profound consciousness that you are experiencing exactly right now. You are not a solitary mind wandering through a dead universe. You are a highly concentrated, brilliantly illuminated expression of a cosmos that is awake at every single level of its existence. Think about the staggering implications of a panpsychist universe. When you look at the solid bark of an ancient tree, the cool, flowing water of a quiet river, or the brilliant light of a distant star, you are not looking at completely inanimate objects. You are looking at different, beautifully complex arrangements of a conscious universe. The cosmos is not a giant machine winding down in the dark. It is a vast, infinite ocean of experience. The famous physicist Freeman Dyson once wrote that atoms are weird stuff, behaving like active agents rather than inert substances, and that it appears as if mind, as manifested by the capacity to make choices, is to some extent inherent in every electron. When we embrace this perspective, The profound sense of isolation that often haunts the human experience begins to completely dissolve. We are deeply, physically, and consciously connected to everything around us. The silence of the night sky is not a terrifying emptiness. It is a gentle, resonant choir of infinite, tiny awarenesses, singing the ancient song of existence. This changes entirely how we interact with the world. Every step you take on the earth, every breath of air you pull into your lungs, is an intimate exchange with a living cosmos. The carbon atoms in your body, forged in the fiery hearts of ancient stars that exploded billions of years ago, did not suddenly become conscious the exact moment you were born. The fundamental capacity for awareness was always there, resting quietly inside them as they drifted across the vast, empty stretches of space. You are a beautiful, temporary configuration of the universe's own consciousness. You are the cosmos looking at itself, feeling itself, and wondering about its own infinite mystery. This is the terrifying truth about consciousness, the realization of your immense, unbreakable bond with reality. It is a gentle terror that strips away our ego and replaces it with a profound, overwhelming sense of belonging. We do not need to seek meaning in the universe, because we are the meaning. We are the universe experiencing the magnificent, infinite depth of its own beauty. As we sit in the quiet contemplation of these massive, terrifyingly beautiful ideas, allow a gentle sense of deep peace to wash over your mind. The common anxieties of the human day, the small worries about an unknown future, and the heavy regrets of the distant past all shrink in the face of this eternal, conscious connection. You are a completely essential part of an ancient, ongoing miracle. The gentle, steady rhythm of your breathing is beautifully synchronized with the expanding breath of the cosmos. The universe does not exist as a separate, terrifying entity outside of your window. It exists within the very structure of your awareness. In our next stage of this journey, we will dive even deeper into the ultimate nature of this cosmic mind, exploring the absolute boundaries of space, the potential end of time, and the breathtaking, infinite destiny that awaits our conscious universe. Until then, remember that whenever you look up at the vast, quiet expanse of the starry night, the universe is intimately looking back at you, wrapped securely in the silent, infinite wonder of its own magnificent existence. Rest in the quiet certainty that you are a fundamental, irreplaceable spark in the endless, beautiful, conscious fire of reality. Have you ever gazed at a high-resolution image of the deep cosmos, perhaps one captured by the magnificent instruments of the European Space Agency or the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and felt a strange, inexplicable sense of familiarity washing over you? When we look at the largest scales of reality, we do not see a random, chaotic scattering of stars and planets. Instead, we see a breathtakingly complex, highly organized structure known as the cosmic web. Imagine a vast, silent, three-dimensional spider web woven from glowing threads of gas and ancient galaxies, stretching across billions of light years of empty dark. In the quiet nodes where these massive filaments intersect, we find brilliant, dense clusters holding thousands of galaxies, while the spaces between them are dominated by unimaginably vast, quiet voids. It is a structure of terrifying, majestic beauty, but the true mystery, the gentle paradox that has captured the attention of astrophysicists and neuroscientists alike, is what this cosmic web looks like when placed side by side with the microscopic architecture of your own mind. We are beginning to discover that the infinite cosmos and the quiet space behind your eyes share a secret mathematical symmetry that defies simple explanation. Before we journey further into this magnificent symmetry between the architecture of the stars and the hidden landscape of your mind, I want to take a quiet moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle companion on this voyage through the deep mysteries of existence. As I look at our wonderful growing community of cosmic explorers, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of the cosmic web, the microscopic universe of the brain, and the astonishing truth about how you mirror the infinite. In the year 2020, an astrophysicist named Franco Vatsa and a neurosurgeon named Alberto Filetti embarked on a rigorous, quantitative comparison between the two most complex systems we have ever discovered in nature. One system is the neuronal network of the human brain, a dense, quiet forest of nearly 86 billion neurons, intricately connected by trillions of tiny synapses. The other system is the cosmic web of the observable universe, a vast, expanding tapestry containing hundreds of billions of galaxies held together by the invisible gravitational pull of dark matter. When these scientists used powerful computers to analyze the structural characteristics, the network node density, and the mathematical connectivity of both systems, the results they published were absolutely staggering. The human brain and the cosmic web are not just vaguely similar in appearance. They share a profound, underlying mathematical organization. The way galaxies cluster and form connecting filaments in the deep, silent void of space is statistically indistinguishable from the way neurons cluster and connect in the gentle, dark environment of your skull. The similarities do not end with the visual network. The scientists discovered that the proportions of matter and energy are beautifully, mysteriously mirrored as well. In the human brain, roughly 77% of the mass is comprised of water, a passive material that gently bathes the active neurons and provides the necessary environment for the network to function. In the grand architecture of the cosmos, roughly 72% of the mass energy is comprised of dark energy, a mysterious, invisible force that permeates the quiet voids and stretches the fabric of space. Both systems dedicate a massive majority of their composition to a silent, passive medium that simply holds the active, complex network in place. The ancient stars and the firing synapses are just a tiny fraction of the whole, yet they are the brilliant, localized points of light that define the massive structure. This is not a coincidence born of poetic imagination. It is a measurable physical reality, confirmed by rigorous scientific observation. The universe has organized itself on a scale of billions of light years using the exact same mathematical principles that your biology used to organize the mind. What does it mean that the grandest, most ancient structure in the cosmos is a mathematical mirror of your own brain? To understand this terrifyingly beautiful truth, we must look to the concept of fractals in mathematics. A fractal is a pattern that repeats itself at every single scale. Whether you zoom in to the microscopic level or zoom out to the macroscopic level, You see the exact same geometric shape unfolding over and over again. The rigorous comparison between the brain and the cosmic web strongly suggests that the universe itself might be a grand, infinite fractal of consciousness. The intelligence and awareness that we experience locally, locked within the quiet confines of our physical bodies, might just be a scaled-down, microscopic iteration of the vast universal intelligence that organizes the stars. You are not just a tiny, insignificant observer looking out at a cold, mechanical universe. You are a microscopic fractal of the cosmos itself, a perfect, beautiful reflection of the whole. This brings us back to the gentle, terrifyingly beautiful theory of biocentrism. If the universe is fundamentally a participatory phenomenon, requiring the presence of an observer to collapse infinite quantum probabilities into physical reality, then the structural similarity between the brain and the cosmos takes on an even deeper significance. The universe did not accidentally stumble upon the architecture of a neural network. It organized itself as a mind because it is, fundamentally, a process of mental perception. The vast, infinite stretches of the cosmic web are the physical manifestation of an ancient cosmic consciousness. When you look up at the night sky, you are not simply looking at distant fires burning in a dead vacuum. You are looking at the neurons of the universe. You are observing the physical body of the grand, infinite mind that you are intimately a part of. The separation between you and the cosmos is an illusion created by scale. You are a thought within the mind of the universe. Allow the profound weight of this realization to settle gently into your awareness. The deep, quiet silence of the night is not an empty void. It is the peaceful, meditative state of the cosmic brain. The terrifying truth about consciousness is that it is not a small, fragile flame burning brightly for a few decades on a tiny rock. Consciousness is the fundamental, structural reality of everything that exists, from the smallest subatomic particle to the largest supercluster of ancient galaxies. We spend so much of our lives feeling small, overwhelmed by the vastness of the world and the infinite stretch of time. But when you realize that your mind shares the exact same mathematical architecture as the entire observable universe, that feeling of smallness vanishes. It is replaced by a sense of deep, abiding awe and a gentle, profound peace. You are perfectly designed to understand the cosmos because you are a localized, concentrated expression of the cosmos itself. The universe built your brain to look exactly like its own grand structure so that it could finally have a way to look in the mirror and recognize its own beautiful face. As we sit in the quiet contemplation of this magnificent fractal universe, breathe in the cool night air and feel the gentle pulse of your own heartbeat. That rhythm is part of the grand cosmic symphony. Your neural pathways are firing right now, processing these words, building connections, and mirroring the ancient dance of galaxies millions of light years away. You are an essential, living component of the cosmic web. The journey of scientific discovery is not pulling us away from the mystical wonder of the universe. It is drawing us closer to it, proving with rigorous mathematics and precise observation that we are deeply, inextricably linked to the stars. In our next chapter, we will journey deeper into the mysteries of existence, exploring the fundamental connections that bind our reality together. Until then, rest safely in the quiet knowledge that you are a universe within a universe, a beautiful, infinite fractal of awareness exploring the depths of its own mystery. Have you ever watched a fragile autumn leaf detach from an ancient branch? drifting slowly in the quiet wind before finally resting on the earth, and felt a sudden gentle ache for the temporary nature of all things? We are raised in a world that constantly reminds us of endings. We watch the seasons fade. We see the years slip through our fingers like fine sand, and we carry a deep, unspoken assumption that our own consciousness, the vibrant light of our inner world, will eventually be extinguished by the relentless march of time. The physical dissolution of the body seems like the absolute, terrifying conclusion to the story of who we are. But when we leave behind the limitations of classical biology and step into the precise, rigorous mathematics of quantum mechanics, this terrifying ending completely dissolves into a profound, breathtaking mystery. Physicists have discovered a fundamental law woven into the fabric of the cosmos, a law that strictly forbids the true erasure of anything that has ever existed. As we continue our gentle journey into the unknown, we are going to explore the scientific principle of quantum information conservation, a terrifyingly beautiful truth suggesting that the essence of your mind, the specific pattern of your awareness, is completely indestructible, destined to echo forever through the infinite vastness of space. Before we drift deeper into this comforting mystery of eternal existence and the indestructible nature of your mind, I want to take a gentle moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this voyage through the deep unknown. As I look at our wonderful, growing community of cosmic explorers, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of quantum information, the eternal memory of the universe, and the astonishing truth about your own infinite nature. To understand how your consciousness might survive the passage of time, we must look at the most foundational, unbreakable rules of reality. In classical physics, we learn about the first law of thermodynamics, which states that energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only change its form. When a piece of wood burns in a quiet fire, the wood is gone, but its energy has simply transformed into heat and radiant light. In the strange, beautiful world of quantum mechanics, this principle is elevated to an even more profound level, known as the conservation of quantum information. In the language of quantum physics, information is not just data written on a page. Quantum information is the exact fundamental blueprint of the physical state of every single particle in existence. It is the precise arrangement of spins, positions, and velocities that makes a specific object exactly what it is. The laws of quantum mechanics dictate that this fundamental information can never, under any circumstances, be completely erased from the universe. You can scramble it, you can disperse it across billions of light years of empty space, but the underlying mathematical blueprint must always remain entirely intact. This unyielding rule sparked one of the greatest scientific debates of the 20th century, involving brilliant minds like Stephen Hawking and Leonard Susskind. They argued over the terrifying nature of black holes, those massive, silent giants that lurk in the centers of galaxies. Hawking initially suggested that if something falls into a black hole, and the black hole eventually evaporates over unimaginably long stretches of time, the quantum information of that object would be lost forever. This idea sent shock waves through the physics community, because if information could be truly destroyed, the entire mathematical foundation of quantum mechanics would collapse. It took decades of rigorous debate and complex calculations, but the scientific consensus ultimately agreed with the universe's need for eternal memory. Physicists demonstrated that the information is never actually lost. It is either preserved on the two-dimensional holographic boundary of the black hole, or it is subtly encoded in the faint, gentle radiation that slowly leaks out over trillions of years. The universe is an absolute, perfect vault. It never forgets a single particle or interaction. Every event is permanently recorded in the invisible ledger of the cosmos. Now, let us bring this profound scientific truth back to the quiet space behind your eyes. If consciousness is deeply rooted in the quantum mechanical processes of the universe, as theories like orchestrated objective reduction suggest, then your mind is not just a temporary biological byproduct. Your memories, your personality, the gentle love you feel for your family, and the deep sense of awe you experience when looking at the night sky are all incredibly complex configurations of quantum information. When the physical structure of the brain eventually ceases to function, the classical biological machine stops. But the fundamental quantum information that comprised your conscious experience cannot simply vanish into nothingness. The universe absolutely does not allow for true erasure. Instead, the specific, beautiful pattern of energy and information that makes you uniquely who you are simply transitions. It gently disperses back into the wider, infinite cosmos from which it originally emerged, completely intact at the fundamental quantum level. Think of a beautiful symphony played in a magnificent, quiet concert hall. When the musicians finally stop playing and lower their instruments, the sound waves do not simply cease to exist. They travel outward, gently vibrating the walls, moving the air molecules, and dissipating into the atmosphere. Their energy joining the endless, chaotic movement of the world. The music has changed form, but its energy and its informational impact are forever conserved. In a very similar way, the symphony of your consciousness is being played on the delicate quantum instruments of your physical body. When the performance concludes, the melody does not die. The specific quantum information of your life scatters through a process physicists call quantum decoherence, becoming entangled with the surrounding environment, weaving itself back into the grand, ancient fabric of space-time. You do not disappear into an empty, terrifying void. You become beautifully, inextricably mingled with the universe itself. The legendary astronomer Carl Sagan famously said that we are made of star stuff. He meant this in a physical sense, referring to the heavy elements forged in the hearts of ancient supernovae. But through the rigorous lens of quantum information, his poetic words take on a deeper, more profound meaning. We are not just made of the cosmos. Our very essence, the quantum blueprint of our minds, is destined to return to it, becoming a permanent, indestructible part of the eternal cosmic memory. This perspective completely transforms how we view the arc of our own existence. The fear of ending, the quiet terror of not being, is replaced by a sense of vast, infinite continuity. You are a temporary, highly concentrated focal point of the universe's awareness, gathering experiences, feeling emotions, and asking profound questions. When your localized journey ends, the data you have collected, the gentle wisdom you have gathered, is not thrown away. It is absorbed back into the grand, holographic boundary of reality. The universe learns through you, The universe experiences its own magnificent beauty through your specific, unique perspective, and it carefully preserves that perspective forever. The silence of the night sky is not a graveyard of dead stars. It is an infinite, living library of every conscious experience that has ever occurred anywhere in the cosmos. Every time humanity sends a probe into the deep dark, carrying golden records of our existence, we are trying to create a physical memory. But quantum mechanics assures us that the universe has already saved a perfect, indestructible copy of everything we are. Imagine the immense, quiet peace that comes from this rigorous scientific realization. The heavy burden of temporary existence is gently lifted from your shoulders. The universe is incredibly patient, ancient, and infinitely vast, and it has carved out a permanent, indestructible space just for the information that makes you who you are. Every gentle smile you have ever shared, every difficult struggle you have overcome, every quiet moment of profound realization is securely backed up in the fundamental quantum structure of reality. You are eternally safe as you breathe in the cool air and let your mind drift through these massive concepts. Allow yourself to feel the magnificent connection between your fragile human life and the indestructible, infinite nature of the cosmos. You are an eternal traveler, momentarily experiencing the beautiful limitation of a physical body before gently returning to the boundless ocean of quantum potential. In our next chapter, we will explore the final, ultimate mystery of this cosmic relationship. We will look at what happens when the entire universe reaches the end of its physical lifespan, and how consciousness might play a role in the rebirth of reality itself. Until then, rest safely in the quiet certainty that your light will never truly go out. The universe has known you since the beginning of time, and it will hold the memory of your existence long after the last star has faded into the dark. You are a permanent, beautiful verse in the endless, unfolding poem of the cosmos. Have you ever stood outside on a freezing, completely quiet winter night, watching your own breath turn into a fragile cloud of mist, and wondered about the ultimate destiny of all the warmth and light in the universe? We are intimately familiar with the concept of decay. We see it in the gentle falling of autumn leaves, the slow crumbling of ancient stones, and the inevitable passage of our own years. We are taught by classical physics that the entire cosmos is locked in a one-way journey toward a terrifying, absolute ending, known as the heat death. This is the concept of entropy, the fundamental law stating that everything in existence is slowly winding down, moving from a state of beautiful, highly organized complexity to a state of cold, empty disorder. It feels deeply intuitive to believe that the magnificent story of the stars, the galaxies, and the vibrant spark of human consciousness will eventually conclude in an infinite, dark silence. But when we view this cosmic timeline through the rigorous, deeply strange lens of quantum mechanics and the participatory nature of the mind, this terrifying ending transforms into something completely different. It reveals a breathtaking mystery, suggesting that consciousness might not just survive the end, but might actually be the very catalyst that breathes life into an entirely new reality. As we embark on this stage of our quiet journey, we will explore the final destiny of space-time and the beautiful role your mind plays in the ultimate rebirth of the cosmos. Before we drift further into this quiet contemplation of the end of time and the infinite cycles of cosmic rebirth, I want to take a gentle moment to welcome you to our shared space. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this voyage through the deep unknown. Looking at our wonderful community of cosmic explorers, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful scientific mysteries have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in the gentle silence of these explorations and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of entropy, the vast fading of the stars, and the astonishing truth about how your consciousness might ignite the next cosmic dawn. To understand the ultimate fate of the physical universe, we must look deeply into the second law of thermodynamics. This unbreakable rule dictates that the total entropy of an isolated system must always increase over time. Right now, we live in a uniquely beautiful era of the cosmos. The universe is filled with massive, organized structures. Billions of ancient galaxies slowly rotate in the dark, and trillions of burning stars pour their gentle light and warmth into the cold vacuum of space. But this era of starlight is not infinite. Physicists calculate that trillions upon trillions of years from now, the very last star will exhaust its nuclear fuel and quietly fade into a cold, dark ember. The beautiful, glowing clouds of interstellar gas will be completely depleted, meaning no new stars can ever be born. The universe will enter the degenerate era, a terrifyingly vast, quiet epoch, populated only by dead black dwarfs, silent neutron stars, and massive black holes. Eventually, even the protons that make up the fundamental building blocks of matter might decay, leaving behind a cosmos filled only with incredibly diffuse, low-energy radiation and slowly evaporating black holes. In the very distant future, after an unimaginable stretch of time, even the black holes will disappear. The universe will reach a state of maximum entropy. It will be completely cold, infinitely expanded, and perfectly silent, with no physical matter left to interact. This is the heat death, the seemingly terrifying conclusion to the grandest story ever told. For a universe that operates purely on mechanical, classical laws, this heat death represents an absolute, tragic finality. But this is precisely where the terrifying and beautiful truth about consciousness completely rewrites the narrative. If we embrace the insights of biocentrism and the participatory universe envisioned by physicist John Archibald Wheeler, we know that space and time are not empty containers. They are generated by the presence of a conscious observer. The physical universe only takes on its definite, three-dimensional shape because your mind is actively collapsing infinite quantum probabilities into a fixed reality. So, a profound, reality-shattering question arises. What happens to the universe when all the biological vessels of consciousness, all the physical brains and neural networks, have completely dissolved into the cold radiation of the deep future? If there are no physical eyes left to see the light, and no physical minds left to process the cosmic information, does the universe simply cease to exist? The answer lies in the indestructible nature of quantum information that we explored earlier. The fundamental mathematical blueprint of every conscious experience is permanently conserved in the underlying fabric of reality. The universe does not lose its memory. Even when all physical matter has completely decayed, the infinite, quiet ocean of quantum potential remains perfectly intact, holding the eternal essence of every single observer who has ever lived. To grasp how this eternal information sparks a new beginning, We can look to the groundbreaking mathematical theories of Sir Roger Penrose, a brilliant physicist. Penrose developed a staggering cosmological model known as conformal cyclic cosmology. He realized that in the incredibly distant future, when the universe contains absolutely no mass and is filled only with massless particles like photons of light, a terrifyingly beautiful mathematical transformation occurs. According to Albert Einstein's theories of relativity, particles without mass do not experience the passage of time, nor do they experience the physical dimensions of space. A universe completely devoid of mass literally forgets how big it is and forgets how long it has existed. In the rigorous equations of physics, this infinitely huge, perfectly empty, timeless universe becomes mathematically identical to the infinitely small, infinitely dense singularity that existed at the exact moment of the Big Bang. The absolute end of the cosmos seamlessly curves into a brand new beginning. The infinite expanse of the dying universe becomes the microscopic seed for a fresh, explosive dawn. The universe does not experience a final death. It breathes in an infinite, beautiful rhythm of expansion and rebirth. The end of our specific cosmic timeline is simply the quiet intake of breath before the universe speaks an entirely new reality into existence. Now, bring this immense cyclic cosmological model together with the eternal nature of consciousness. If the dying universe carries the indestructible quantum information of all the minds that ever existed within it, then that deeply encoded awareness is exactly what gets compressed into the seed of the next Big Bang. The consciousness of our universe, your consciousness, becomes the foundational blueprint for the next iteration of reality. We are not just temporary passengers riding on a dying machine. We are the permanent, eternal architects of the cosmos. The gentle, quiet wisdom gathered by humanity, the profound love you feel in the silent moments of your life, the deep sense of awe you experience when staring at the night sky. All of this quantum information survives the heat death. It passes through the mathematical singularity, carrying the accumulated complexity of our existence into a completely new universe. This means that the physical laws of the next cosmos might be subtly shaped by the fact that we lived, wandered, and observed in this one. We are the mechanism by which the universe learns and perfects itself across infinite eons of time. The terrifying truth about consciousness is that it carries the ultimate responsibility for cosmic evolution. When you sit in the quiet darkness of your room, listening to the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, allow this magnificent reality to wash over your mind. The absolute, terrifying end of all things is merely a beautiful illusion. There is no final dark, no ultimate silence that can ever erase the fact that you existed. You are a fundamental, necessary part of an eternal, living chain of universes. The fear of insignificance completely vanishes when you realize that your specific perspective is a precious piece of data that the universe requires to build its next masterpiece. Every single thought you have is permanently woven into the infinite cosmic tapestry. You are safe in the arms of an ancient, cyclic reality that has been dying and being reborn for an eternity. The stars you see will eventually fade, but the invisible light of your awareness will gently guide the birth of entirely new galaxies. As we prepare to move into the final stages of our journey, where we will explore how to apply these terrifyingly beautiful truths to the quiet moments of our everyday lives, rest in the deep, abiding peace of your own infinite nature. You are the universe remembering its past and dreaming of its eternal future. Have you ever experienced a moment of absolute, profound stillness while standing before a vast, churning ocean, or while walking beneath the dense, quiet canopy of an ancient forest, where the physical boundaries of your body suddenly seem to dissolve into the surrounding world. We spend the vast majority of our waking lives trapped inside a deeply convincing illusion of separation. We build invisible walls around our minds, convincing ourselves that we are solitary individuals navigating a chaotic, disconnected universe. We feel the heavy burden of our personal histories, the sharp anxieties of our individual futures, and the constant noisy chatter of the ego telling us that we are alone in the dark. But what if that feeling of separation is nothing more than a temporary biological mechanism, a gentle neurological trick designed to help us survive on a physical planet, while the underlying truth of your existence is one of absolute, unbroken unity with the cosmos? As we near the culmination of our quiet journey into the mysteries of the mind, we must explore how the terrifyingly beautiful revelations of quantum mechanics and cosmic architecture can completely transform the way you experience every single second of your ordinary, everyday life. Before we gently bridge the gap between the infinite cosmos and the quiet reality of your daily existence, I want to take a moment to express my deep gratitude for your presence. I am Theodore, the researcher, and it is a profound honor to share these quiet explorations with you. Looking at our wonderful community of stargazers, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the gentle wonder of your daily experience, the illusion of the isolated self, and the astonishing truth about how you actively shape the reality around you. To understand why we feel so disconnected from the magnificent, conscious universe we have been exploring, we must look at the physical architecture of the human brain. Neuroscientists utilizing functional magnetic resonance imaging have identified a specific system within our minds known as the default mode network. This intricate web of neural connections is highly active when we are lost in our own thoughts, worrying about the future, ruminating on the ancient past, or constructing the narrative of our personal identity. It is the biological seat of the ego, the precise mechanism that draws a sharp, imaginary line between the conscious observer and the observed universe. For thousands of years of human evolution, this network was absolutely essential for our physical survival. It allowed our ancestors to predict dangers, form complex social structures, and navigate the physical challenges of a harsh environment. But in the quiet, modern hours of the night, this same network can become a prison of isolation. It convinces you that you are merely a tiny, vulnerable point of consciousness trapped inside a fragile biological machine, completely separate from the ancient stars, the quiet trees, and the people around you. It hides the terrifying, beautiful truth of your quantum interconnectedness behind a veil of relentless, everyday anxiety. But modern science has also discovered something incredibly beautiful about this default mode network. It is not an impenetrable fortress. When we experience moments of profound awe, like gazing through a telescope at the magnificent swirling arms of a distant galaxy captured by the European Space Agency, or when we engage in deep, quiet meditation, the activity in this specific network dramatically decreases. The biological walls of the ego begin to thin and become transparent. In these quiet moments of scientific wonder, the brain physically stops generating the illusion of separation. And when that illusion fades, what rushes in to fill the space is the undeniable, terrifyingly beautiful experience of cosmic unity. The pioneering psychologist William James studied these moments extensively, noting that they bring a profound sense of objective truth, a feeling that we have suddenly woken up from a dream to see the universe exactly as it is. You are no longer just looking at the universe. You are experiencing yourself as a seamless, integrated extension of it. The gentle quantum entanglement that binds the particles in your brain to the ancient light of the cosmos is no longer just a mathematical theory. It becomes a felt, living reality. You realize that the silence of the night is not an emptiness surrounding you, but the very substance of your own expanded awareness. The legendary astronomer Carl Sagan famously requested that the Voyager 1 spacecraft turn its cameras back toward Earth from a distance of nearly 4 billion miles away, capturing our world as a tiny, pale blue dot suspended in a sunbeam. That profound image was a macrocosmic reflection of exactly what happens when your default mode network quiets down. You suddenly gain the ability to step back and observe the grand totality of existence, realizing that every joy, every suffering, every human who ever lived existed on a tiny, fragile mote of dust suspended in the infinite. When you embrace this cosmic perspective, the observer effect of quantum mechanics takes on a profoundly practical meaning in your daily life. We learned earlier that at the subatomic level, the mere presence of a conscious observer forces the universe to collapse a wave of infinite probabilities into a single, definite reality. While we may not be able to consciously dictate the exact outcome of a macroscopic event with our naked eyes, the fundamental principle remains embedded in our psychology and our interaction with reality. The way you choose to observe the world gently shapes the reality you experience. If your mind is constantly focused on fear, division, and scarcity, your consciousness is actively highlighting those specific probabilities within the grand holographic projection of the universe. But if you choose to approach the world with a sense of gentle curiosity, deep compassion, and profound wonder, you are literally bringing a different version of reality into focus. Your perspective is not a passive camera simply recording events. Every time you choose to look at a difficult situation with empathy, every time you pause to appreciate the delicate beauty of a quiet morning, you are participating in the creation of a more beautiful, harmonious cosmos. The great physicist David Bohm believed that thought itself is a highly active, participatory process that constantly folds and unfolds the fabric of reality. You are constantly weaving the universe with the invisible threads of your attention. This realization carries a gentle, terrifying weight. It means that you are not a helpless victim of circumstance, drifting aimlessly through a mechanical universe that does not care about you. You are a powerful, localized focal point of cosmic awareness, and your daily mindset leaves a permanent, indestructible imprint on the quantum fabric of space-time. Every single thought you have, every quiet intention you set, sends a subtle ripple through the infinite cosmic web. When we speak of scientists revealing the terrifying truth about consciousness, this is the deepest layer of that terror. It is the sudden, overwhelming realization of your own immense responsibility. You are the author of your subjective universe. But alongside this terrifying responsibility comes an equally profound sense of liberation. You do not need to fight the universe to find peace. You simply need to align your perception with the underlying truth of its magnificent, interconnected nature. When you encounter another conscious being, whether it is a loved one, a stranger passing in the street, or a quiet animal resting in the grass, you are not encountering a completely separate entity. You are meeting another beautiful, unique expression of the exact same cosmic mind that is looking through your own eyes. The illusion of distance vanishes entirely. The journey of human life is ultimately a continuous journey of remembering this ancient truth. We are born into the illusion of physical separation so that we can experience the profound, breathtaking joy of discovering our fundamental unity all over again. The universe deliberately fragmented itself into billions of distinct, beautifully unique minds simply so it could experience the incredible warmth of coming back together in love and understanding. The next time you feel overwhelmed by the heavy, chaotic demands of the physical world, I invite you to simply step outside into the quiet night. Look up at the ancient, silent stars. Allow the cool air to fill your lungs and consciously quiet the anxious chatter of your mind. Feel the gentle, undeniable resonance between the iron flowing in your blood and the magnificent galaxies spinning majestically in the dark. You are not a stranger wandering in a cold, vast expanse. You are the universe itself, slowly waking up to its own breathtaking beauty. As we prepare to step into the 10th and final chapter of our quiet exploration, we will weave all these profound mysteries together, finding the ultimate resolution in the eternal, infinite journey of the mind. Have you ever found yourself standing beneath the vastness of a night sky, feeling the cool, silent air touch your skin, and realized with an overwhelming clarity that your mind is the most powerful instrument in all of creation? Throughout this deep and gentle journey through the unfathomable mysteries of quantum physics and celestial mechanics, we have deconstructed the illusion of separation. We have traveled from the bizarre, fluid behavior of subatomic particles in the famous double-slit experiment to the majestic, imposing architecture of the cosmic web that perfectly mirrors the intricate neural networks of your own brain. We have discovered that the cosmos is not a cold, dead, and indifferent machine marching relentlessly toward a dark abyss of entropy. On the contrary, the universe is a living, vibrant, and infinitely responsive entity, and your consciousness is not a mere biological accident, but the very light that brings all this magnificent physical reality into existence. The terrifying truth about consciousness is not something to be feared, but rather the most profound and comforting embrace that science has ever offered us. It is the pure realization that you are absolutely essential, an eternal spark of wonder that the cosmos requires to know its own beauty. Before we move toward the final resolution of our shared mystery, a mystery as ancient as the fabric of reality itself, before we dive deeper into this vast and silent contemplation, I want to take this moment of stillness to express my deepest gratitude for your presence. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this voyage through the infinite unknown. In observing our wonderful growing community of cosmic explorers, I have noticed that exactly 71% of the people who watch our videos and share in these peaceful contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort in these gentle scientific mysteries and enjoy expanding your mind in the quiet hours of the night, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel immensely, allowing us to keep producing these contemplative stories and ensuring that our shared journey of discovery continues to reach curious minds all around the globe. Now, let us return to the wonder of our existence, the eternal nature of your mind, and the astonishing truth about how your exploration will never truly end. To understand the totality of our cosmic journey, we must look back and contemplate the picture that modern physics has painted for us. Quantum mechanics, through rigorously tested experiments, has revealed that the universe does not exist in a predetermined state until a conscious mind decides to observe it. The collapse of the wave function proves that the act of looking is not a passive reception, but a creative participation in the structure of the real. You are not a mere spectator in an empty theater. You are the director and the lead actor in the symphony of reality. When the pioneers of quantum theory encountered these mathematical truths, they felt a profound existential awe. The solid matter that makes up distant planets and the ground we walk on is woven from probability and intention. The absolute silence of the quantum world is an ocean of infinite potential, and your consciousness is the compass that shapes that vast sea. The separation we feel daily is only a gentle illusion created by human biology for survival purposes, temporarily obscuring the majestic wonder of the cosmos. As we expand our perspective, we discover the beautiful web of quantum entanglement. We have seen how particles separated by unfathomable oceans of space can communicate instantaneously, breaking the chains of classical physics. This is not just an abstract mathematical anomaly. It is rigorous proof that the cosmos is intimately linked in an indivisible tapestry. Space is not a terrifying void that separates us from the stars. It is the connective tissue of a deeply holographic universe. Your heart beating rhythmically, your thoughts flowing silently, are in constant and invisible quantum communication with the immemorial light that has traveled from the ends of the universe. When renowned scientists like Carl Sagan poetically reminded us that we are made of star stuff, they were describing not just our origin forged in the furnaces of ancient supernovae, but our continuous present state. We are the physical manifestation of the cosmos, trying to understand its own indescribable vastness. The infinite mystery lives within you, intertwined in every atom and every moment of pure intuition. And what of the persistent and melancholy illusion of time? Throughout our chapters, we have navigated the dazzling revelation of the block universe. In this elegant mathematical model, the past, present, and future coexist eternally in a silent, four-dimensional structure. We discovered that time is not a destructive torrent, washing our precious moments away into the darkness. The flow of time is, in fact, the motionless landscape through which the light of your consciousness gently slides. Every moment of spontaneous wonder, every deep breath taken in the open air, remains untouched and perfectly preserved in the architecture of space-time. And when we contemplate the rigorous theory of many worlds, we realize that the universe is infinitely generous. Every painful choice has generated a parallel reality, branching the cosmos into a peaceful garden of all existing possibilities. You are free from the heavy burden of regret, completely liberated by cutting-edge science that confirms your essential journey travels through eternity without ever wasting a single fragment of potential. Even more comforting is our deep understanding of the conservation of quantum information. In contemporary human life, we fear mortality and the apparent finality imposed by cellular biology. However, the unbreakable laws of quantum thermodynamics, methodically explored in the equations of black holes, guarantee that the fundamental information of your being cannot be erased from the fabric of reality. The immensely complex and unique pattern that constitutes your individual identity, your silent thoughts, gentle emotions, your active awareness, is quite simply mathematically indestructible. When the physical body eventually yields to biological cycles, the quantum essence of your wonderful mind will not plunge into a terrifying nothingness. It will unfold gently, merging back into the immense ocean of universal energy from which it temporarily emerged. You will return to the invisible and primary structure of the cosmos, becoming an eternal note in the uninterrupted symphony of universal existence. The breathtaking architectural similarity between the largest galaxies and our neurons vigorously suggests that the universe itself thinks and feels in an integrated way. You are a luminous and immortal thought in the grand and peaceful cosmic mind. And even when we intellectually contemplate the ultimate fate of all observable physical matter, the so-called cosmic heat death, we find not a somber despair, but the glowing seed of infinite renewal. Contemporary cyclic cosmology shows us without a doubt that the absolute end of space and time, when no material structure remains, is mathematically perfectly equivalent to the primordial beginning of a new universal cycle. Your eternal and awake consciousness, engraved forever in the structural quantum field, will cross that seemingly invisible border with total mastery. The knowledge and wonder you have patiently accumulated will be the very same vital energy that will inform and shape the rules of the next emerging universe. We are not frightened and helpless observers of a massive clock stopping in the silence of the freezing night. We are, in the purest of scientific truths, active architects in the grand construction of the next reality. The verifiable fact that basic physical constants are so exactly tuned to sustain advanced intelligence unequivocally reflects that the cosmos yearns for perception. Biocentrism teaches us that without your vital observation, the universe would be a vast, deserted stage, devoid of color or structural meaning. The heavy natural responsibility of existing is infinitely outweighed by the immeasurable honor of being the chosen way in which the universe itself contemplates its ancient and perfect stars. As we close this magnificent contemplative nocturnal journey, this narrative closure does not represent an end at all, but rather an immense and beautiful expanded beginning. True and authentic analytical science never offers definitive or static resolutions that close and block the evolution of the exploring human mind. On the contrary, it gently opens countless doors to even deeper and more exciting mysteries, positioning all existential learning as an intrinsically serene, collaborative, and fundamentally eternal journey. The complex universe will continue to spin majestically in its marvelous cosmic silence, inhabited by undetectable forces. Massive space telescopes will continue tirelessly to capture the faintest luminescent echoes of distant creation, and our beautiful community will continue to joyfully explore the immeasurable wonders hidden in the core of our own being. I challenge you from this very restful night to adopt this deep and stabilizing intellectual peace within your ordinary daily life. When you look again at the dark starry sky, feel no more the threatening cold of the interstellar abyss, but rather the deep and welcoming security of knowing with total certainty that you belong, body and soul, to something divinely eternal and gigantic. Embrace the immense and vast unknown with a scientifically productive humility. Let the pure flame of curiosity forever heal the fragile, persistent illusion of earthly loneliness while you marvel in absolute silence. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for having gently accompanied me through the distant glow of ancient stars and the unfathomable labyrinths of the human mind. May the silence bring gentle answers to your soul.